Oh, let me get my water. What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Is it my channel? I do hate that line. It's another Sunday evening. It's a bit late, around 11:30 p.m. It seems Sundays are going to be my recording days. Let me embrace it just like that. Yeah, brighten my dark face. Looks better. So today I was actually brainstorming on a number of things. I was thinking, what am I going to talk about on Fake Guru? First of all, welcome to Fake Guru. My name is Remy Scott, but Fake Guru is a place where we talk about a number of things that do not make any sense. But if you listen closely, you might get something out of it. I had a line of a YouTuber who has actually become one of my favorite. Forgotten the name. He was saying on his introduction that I hope you're not listening to this, but if you are, keep it to yourself, something like that. It's a reverse psychology kind of introduction. So during the day, I was actually brainstorming on what I can talk about on Fake Guru. Right now I'm trying to brainstorm, but forgive my lack of structure in this discussion. And as I was brainstorming, I came to realize that there's something I haven't actually talked about that I had thought about sometimes back, and it was so strong back then. And I so happened to land on this video by a lady. I think she's someone famous. I don't know her that much. Let me check on YouTube and see what was her name. It was actually about critics. I know so many people get to talk about haters, people hating on them, and people not showing them the love, naysayers, critics, and so on and so forth, and how those people have actually made them succeed by just hating on them.
Don't walk through the world looking for evidence.
She's called Brainy Brown. It starts with her saying that don't walk around the world looking for evidence that you don't fit in, because you'll always find that evidence. Looking for evidence that you're not enough, you always find that evidence. There was a time when I was young. It's still a feeling that I'm trying to shake off, but whenever I go into spaces, I feel like I don't belong here. Especially if you get me in on these public spaces, for example, a hotel or so. Like recently I visited a friend, not a friend, sort of a client who has grown to become a friend. She took me to the CJ's, and CJ's is in Koinange Street. And it was actually the second time I'm going to the CJ's. And though the first time I went was last year, going this year felt like I'm being introduced into an environment that is way above my league. And in as much as I know I speak good English, or I try to, in as much as I know I'm a big deal, it's good to know that about yourself. I just felt out of place, especially the cutlery and the faces that I saw around, the kind of service, just how CJ's looks like. You know how CJ's, if you've been to town, you know how CJ's looks like. And I just felt like this is not my place. And for a long time over my life, I never used to like eating at hotels. I always felt like it's putting me in a very uncomfortable position, and one that I can't really be myself. How I eat in public and how I eat when I'm alone or with people who I can be myself with. it's very different. That those people who carry their mannerisms in public, like one of my friends, my childhood friends, I remember when we were children, he'll be found in those wrangles between people involving food. They were just fighting for food during my primary school days. For me, I thought that was way below my league. And so as people were fighting for meals and that kind of thing, for me, as a shy person, was born shy, I felt like I can't do this, And it was coming from a place of pride, yes, but it was also like a prison, because deep down I knew that I wanted to taste especially those teachers' meals. You know how great they are compared to the meals pupils and students are served. But from a place of pride, I couldn't lower myself, or rather humble myself, or rather become really vulnerable to experience that moment. And so there's this day we were walking with him down the street. We bought mandazis in the streets. I don't like mandazis personally, especially those that are prepared along the streets. And so when he bought mandazi, he threw his arm around me, then teared the mandazi into the air and looked free. So I noted that experience. Now, several years later, there's a day, coincidentally again, we bought mandazis, and this time he was a bit reserved, more mature and that kind of thing. And I asked him, aren't you going to eat on the street like you're used to? And he said, you know, we've really grown, we're mature now. At the time we were children. And I was telling him that whatever you're doing is childish. But for him, it was like he was telling me, I'm free, I don't care. But now he's like, I do care what other people think of me. And something funny about this moment was, while back then I saw it as a prison, in this moment, I felt that I can actually be crazy and just maybe eat something on the street, something that I wasn't used to doing. And I felt I should free myself and enjoy that moment. Then the person I thought I can enjoy that moment with suddenly had become mature. Anyways, this is all down to the fact that I feel that so many eyes are always all over the place trying to judge me. And that's a human personality. But I feel in people like me, there are some people like me who in them it's so intense. And others, they know how to navigate and really ignore the negative energy that is coming on their way. Over the period of years, I've come to realize, and I've come to talk to myself more and say that these people you see around you in the streets, for example, strangers, some of them even don't care how you're dressed, how even if you're eating or you're not eating, or how you're eating. Stop thinking of yourself so special that attention is always drawn towards you. And that talk releases me to actually become myself in public spaces. Because, and nowadays when I walk with people who think they are being watched, I try to tell them that it could be true, someone is looking at you, but can I tell you something else? These people don't care, or even if they care, they don't know you. So you are free to be who you think you are, or to be yourself. And as a creative, this lady I was listening to, she was saying that when you're a creative, when you decide to do a piece of your creativity, I'm just trying to paraphrase, and you put it in a public space, then you've thrown yourself, then there are three possibilities. There's a possibility that people will judge you. I think that's what she was saying. the other two possibilities. I can't remember them, I'm sorry. I'll do more research and maybe update you in my next video. But she was basically saying that as a creative, when you create something, when you write something, poetry, maybe a creative work, maybe a novel, maybe something, or maybe decide to do something and post it on your social media platforms, you've opened yourself to criticism, and it is something you should always be certain about. You should actually be present and ready and very aware that people are going to judge you or maybe criticize you. For a long time, I was trying to play things in a very safe manner. I've actually thought of fake guru for many years, to just talk to people and brainstorm on issues and talk about different concepts. But I could not step outside my head and actually appreciate the fact that I too can make mistakes, and it's okay if you, my audience, decide to judge me, criticize my work. I get to learn from that. But we have been raised in societies where a critic is seen as very, very offensive. And sometimes it's actually offensive. People do it unconstructively. I prefer constructive criticism, and it has taken me ages to actually listen to people when they talk to me. Yeah. And there's something else Brené said, is that as you go through life, you have to understand that as a creative, for example, for those who are creatives and for those who are not, you have to accept different communities that bring out the best in you. For example, for creatives, you'll find many artists, musicians and artists and videographers and photographers. They like to really mingle together and interact and stay within that circle, so that when opportunities arise, they tell each other, this has come. And also you find those groups that are very constructive, they critique each other and push each other to grow. But she was saying that as you grow as an artist, as a creative, you will, it's good to become vulnerable and join communities of people. But you have to understand that there is a time in your life that you'll have to step out of that community and stand on your own because of your creative, of whatever you're trying to create. And it's in those moments when you stand on your own, believing on your craft, when other people criticize it and look at you in a very weird manner, that's the time that you develop tough skin. But so many people are so afraid of being on their own, standing on their own. And so people try as much as they can to conform and really become part of society. It is something that I hated for a long time, ever since I was a child. You'll find that on weekdays, we're told to wear full school uniform. Remy Scott here would appear in school sometimes in open shoes, or maybe sport shoes, or maybe rubbers, and just test a teacher and see to what extent can they go to bring havoc. It was always scary, but I always found myself to do that. And I think my whole life I've become, in a way, I'm very rebellious. I try to chart my own way. And through that, I get to find myself and really develop a strong personality for myself. Brené was saying that when you stand alone, it's like you're in the wilderness on your own. No one is there for you. At first, it's going to be tough, but as you continue to work and stand alone and nourish your skills and nourish your creativity and nourish your school of thought in that environment, you continue to grow and become, instead of the wilderness defeating you, you actually become the wilderness. You become it. So that when you enter into spaces where you feel, or when you meet people who criticize your work or criticize you for whatever reason, you tell yourself deep inside, I am the wilderness. I am the wilderness. Because you've been to the wilderness where people criticized you when you were on your own. And now you have become the criticism. And what is unconstructive does not really harm you. What is constructive builds you, okay? And you will be able to tell the difference when people criticize you.